show.
This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show.
Tonight is the Dee Dee Ramone Birthday Memorial Art Exhibit, and it is something that is long overdue, but I'm really glad that we finally had the opportunity to do right. And we are looking to grow this into an annual event to pay homage to Dee Dee, his life, his legacy, and his work in the Ramones and beyond. Because in addition to being a key player in the Ramones, a primary songwriter and one of the founding members of the band, and obviously a very important driving force outside of the Ramones when Dee Dee decided to leave, although he always stayed a part of the Ramones. Even when Dee Dee left the band, Johnny had personally said to him, Dee Dee, even if you're going to leave, you really should stay because you're such an important presence in the Ramones. You know, we need you. And Dee Dee recognized that and wanted to still be a part of it somehow. So even though Dee Dee left the band physically, Dee Dee continued to contribute as a songwriter. So Dee Dee was always a part of the Ramones right up to the very end. But when he left the band, he also pursued other avenues. He had this crazy idea that he wanted to pursue a career in rap. You got to admit, you know, whether you liked his rap or not, it was a pioneering idea. Dee Dee was the first white rapper in what, you know, later became a very, you know, lucrative, enterprising outlet for other creative people that realize that you don't have to be restricted by a racial barrier. If you've got, you know, something burning inside of you and you can express it, you know, race, creed, religion, you know, whatever, none of that stuff really matters. We're all the same, essentially. So, you know, Dee Dee pursued a rap career. But if you listen to Dee Dee's rap album, there's songs on there that aren't just rap, too. I mean, there's a lot of great rock songs in there, and ultimately it's a good album. It's just very quirky. It's very outsider. And then Dee Dee started a career in painting as an artist. In addition to writing books, he wrote some semi-autobiographical books, and he wrote a novel. So Dee Dee has a really, really rich, diverse wealth of art that he created in just about every type of media known to man. Every canvas that you could imagine, the written page, the canvas to paint on, your ears, whatever it was, Dee Dee expressed himself creatively, and that's what we're celebrating tonight, is all facets of Dee Dee, all facets of his career. And I think he'd be really happy to see that people are appreciating everything that he did, not just one thing or another.
A lot of Ramones purists believe that Dee Dee was a very important part of the songwriting team.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. Dee Dee was a key player in the songwriting team, and that's a great word that you chose too, because at least in the very beginning, the Ramones really were a team. I mean, everything they did, that's why you'll see those first 4 albums, all of the songs are written by the Ramones. All of them collectively contributed in one way or another. But there's a lot of Dee Dee's personality in there, and it just maintained to the very end. There's all of their personalities. Their 4 unique personalities made them who and what they were, that special group, the Ramones. But yes, I totally agree with you that Dee Dee was a very important part of the songwriting process, no doubt.
Ramones raw. In that, it's like, it really shows, in some of the footage, it dissatisfied Dee Dee, where he's like, dude, I just want to go home. Yeah. I want to get out of here. What do you think, why was that occurring to Dee Dee? Why was he feeling that way?
I could never 100% say for sure why, but my educated guess or my opinion on the matter would be that Dee Dee was really rebellious. And Dee Dee was as individualistic as they come. And the Ramones had a mold. And there was a specific persona in being a Ramone. You had to have the bowl cut. You had to wear the leather jacket. That was their uniform. It was who they really were. I mean, all of that was what they were before they became the Ramones. And when they got together, that's just who they happened to be. But then that persona defined them to the world, and after a while, Dee Dee didn't want to be that persona anymore. He wanted to change. He wanted to do things differently. And so he would start to rebel. And it's funny because I would learn about these things later, things that I had no idea of as a kid. But I'll admit, when I was in high school and the Too Tough to Die album came out, and I saw Dee Dee with the short, spiky hair, I remembered thinking, why did he do that? The Ramones haircut is so cool. That's how I want my hair. Why wouldn't, you know, he's Dee Dee Ramone. He's one of the Ramones. Why wouldn't he want that haircut anymore? And then on Animal Boy, he still had it. And the funny thing is I felt that it made him look even more intimidating. So the first time I met the Ramones, when I was 16, I was put right next to Dee Dee. It was at a video shoot. It's a long story. I think I told you this once before. It was a video shoot for the Something to Believe in video. I just happened upon the scene, and somebody said, you look like one of the Ramones. They can use you. They put me right next to Dee Dee. And I remembered like thinking, oh, they put me next to Dee Dee, he's the most intimidating one. And then I started talking to him and I said, oh, I really love the new album. And when I said that to him, it was like giving a present to a little kid, like the look on his face, the sincere appreciation, just what took me completely by surprise. Dee Dee really was, you know, a really sweet, lovable guy. If he had a problem with you or there was a problem, he could be as vicious as he wanted to be, but deep down, he really was a sweet, lovable guy. And Johnny had said once that Dee Dee wanted to be more, you know, Dee Dee partied and Dee Dee did drugs for some period of time. And Dee Dee was friends with Richard Hell and the Heartbreakers, and Dee Dee sometimes envisioned that he'd rather be part of a drug group than the Ramones, because the Ramones were military. The Ramones were professional. It's like you get in, you do your job, you do it the best you possibly can. It's all about the music, it's all about the performance, it's all about making sure that you are the best at what your area of expertise is supposed to be. And some of these other bands were a little more laid back and organic and about partying and having a good time. And so Dee Dee would see the appeal and the allure and, oh, I wish I could be in the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
And like, so I think some of that came into play.
And they actually wrote a song together, Johnny Thunders and Dee Dee Ramone.
Dee Dee wrote Chinese Rocks, brought it to the Ramones. The Ramones knew it was a song about drugs, didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Richard Hell finished the song. The Heartbreakers did it. It started to become popular around New York. And then the Ramones said, oh, look, you know, we can't have the Heartbreakers, you know, getting a hit off of one of Dee Dee's songs.
Yeah.
We've got to do it. So they did it on the End of Century record. So I think the reason that you probably see some of that lackadaisical attitude in Dee Dee and I just want to go home is a number of things. I think a core of it is that he was a rebel and he wanted to rebel against the mold of the Ramones. He wanted to do something different. He wanted to pursue this career in rap. He wanted to be the complete opposite spectrum of what the Ramones were at that time. He wanted to pursue different artistic endeavors, and that was sort of his way of rebelling. I also think it was at a period of time where Dee Dee was trying to become clean and he wanted to take drugs and alcohol out of his life, much to his credit, and that was difficult for him. You know, he was addicted. And I think that being on the road made it more difficult for him to kick that. So I think a lot of those factors played into what you see in those last few tours with Dee Dee on the road. And I don't know if you know, I actually produced, directed, and edited Ramones Raw. Happy birthday, Dee Dee Ramone.
The Blairing Out Show.